Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'm gonna do a very controversial battle, but because I'm a controversial YouTuber who does controversial battles, like, of course, I have done Batman vs. Storm, Superman vs. Daredevil, I'm gonna do the most controversial battle ever. Captain America versus Dr. Manhattan. That's right, Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. Now, the reason I'm doing this battle is probably because I feel like every time a YouTuber talks about Dr. Manhattan, I don't think the audience really understands what Dr. Manhattan does. Like, for instance, a lot of people have consistently complained about YouTubers saying that they're just scaling like Doctor Strange or Silver Surfer. I feel it's about time I feel like we should understand why. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. So here's the thing. Dr. Manhattan has only appeared in like a few comics. One of them was The Watchmen, and of course we all know Doomsday Clock, which only has like 12, I think, issues. Like, yeah. So basically, when you take a character with that many stories, it's apparent that of course that character doesn't have a lot of feats. Let me explain. Let's say you're creating this character, and let's say somebody else puts this character up against that character. Well, number one, that other character, your character doesn't really have a lot of feats because he doesn't have that many stories. However, with the other one, the other guy has like millions and thousands of stories, so there's much more information you know about that character. You see what I mean? It's much more compelling when you actually start realizing, yeah, that man really doesn't have many feet, so I guess the YouTuber is completely right. And so when you just constantly bash on the YouTuber just for saying, oh yeah, you're so dumb because Dr. Manhattan is so powerful, no. And when you actually do look at his feats in Rebirth, like taking out the DC Universe, many characters have done that. Galactus, Thanos, they can battle the Marvel Universe. The only difference is that they do it on a more consistent level, and they do it on a daily basis. Dr. Manhattan doesn't do that on a daily basis. Do you guys now get what I mean? And when he destroyed the White Lantern rings, well, he only did that once. He didn't do it again. Whereas Thanos definitely can battle against Thor on multiple different occasions, even if Thor is getting some power-ups. And that's why Thanos could actually defeat Dr. Manhattan. That's one of the reasons every YouTuber goes around and says, oh yeah, Dr. Manhattan, as powerful this character could be, he's not powerful enough, and he doesn't have enough feats to take down like Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, or even like Thanos or Galactus. So I decided to do this one. Now, in my opinion, we all know Dr. Manhattan is clearly more powerful. I mean, his run in Doomsday Clock alone is like more impressive than few feats than Captain America, than most of Steve's feats. However, and Dr. Manhattan is also very similar to the Reverse Flash in a way because he can manipulate the timeline. However, Captain America's fought Kang the Conqueror on many occasions, which in my opinion, I will actually compare Reverse Flash to Kang the Conqueror. You see, Dawn and Daniel Richards are both time travelers from the future. Dr. Manhattan is actually not a time traveler, but a person from the past who is infused with nuclear radiation and becomes basically Dr. Manhattan. You see, the reason I would say Dawn is more powerful than Manhattan is because Dawn can never die. Where Dr. Manhattan, well, he can't die, he can come back to life. Dawn has proven that he could actually temporarily affect the timeline before. As in Flashpoint, when Barry Allen changed the timeline, Dawn was able to manipulate the timeline into becoming a paradox, where no matter what happens to Barry Allen, Dawn would still exist. And I find the same thing with Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan is not a character outside the timeline. Sure, he can create universes and multiverse, but the problem is he's only done that like a few times. He hasn't done that like a million times. So temporarily, if Dr. Manhattan is able to erase Captain America from the timeline, which really shouldn't even happen, because if Captain America was frozen alive for many years, from World War II all the way to the present day, that is a lot of time, and that's to the point where, yeah, in reality, the time travel really wouldn't even affect Captain America's that much. So even though Captain America has fought time travelers, he really would not even be affected by time travel that much, unlike some certain characters in the DC universe. Now, I feel like Captain America's greatest advantage is the fact that he's the better fighter out of the two. Captain America is in the top 10 best fighters in the whole Marvel Universe, and Captain America has even proven this, where Dr. Manhattan doesn't even punch a person. Realistically, I feel it's like, because we don't know that much about Dr. Manhattan, you kind of have to start accepting that the fact that when every YouTuber says Dr. Manhattan is like one of the most powerful, and it's like on Odin or Galactus's level, you do realize they're not like on alcohol or drugs. Because if they were, then of course they would say stuff, okay, yeah, like Green Arrow could take down Dr. Manhattan. But to me, I feel like Dr. Manhattan, until he gets a lot more stories and a lot more feeds, that's where they're the point that, yeah, maybe the YouTubers could start updating their videos. But the problem is that when you have a character with so much more feats and experience and years of experience, I feel like that guy would still be a guy who doesn't have that much more feats. For instance, let's say you're gonna take a lion up against a tiger. Let's say that the lion was far more experienced. He's been in battles. He's been with battles like hyenas, rhinos, elephants, hippos. And let's say the tiger has been like, he's still young. He's just picking a few fights. Let's say those two are gonna collide. To most people, would say, of course, the lion is gonna win. That is the thing. That's the journey Dr. Manhattan took, where the Dr. Manhattan is kind of like the tiger in a lot of ways, where he's not that experienced, where he's battling other characters who have far more experience. Of course, that's how YouTubers have to explain it. I understand some people are disappointed with some YouTubers, and I know a lot of people hate others YouTubers. But really, the hate does not mean any. But the hate is not warranted, because in my personal opinion, I would actually agree with the YouTubers that say Dr. Manhattan really wouldn't beat this character. Yes, Captain America can get erased from the timeline and can die in a fight with Dr. Manhattan. But the thing is, Captain America has actually proven on more than one occasion that he can actually come back from the dead, which in my opinion really nullifies Dr. Manhattan's erasing abilities. Because if Captain America can be erased from the time, plus he's even fought Thanos on many occasions, and Thanos actually one time killed him and yet came back, I feel like Dr. Manhattan is gonna have a harder time killing Captain America. And not to mention, Dr. Manhattan is very similar in a lot of ways to like characters like Silver Surfer, Dormammu, Galactus, Herald of Galactus, Thanos, and the Black Order, and many more Marvel characters. That's one of the reasons a lot of people seems to say, yeah, Doctor Strange would definitely still win a fight with him, because he has far more experience. And to my opinion, I feel like Captain America has far better abilities than just erasing someone from the timeline or manipulating time. If this was the Reverse Flash, it's a little bit of a different story. But to be honest, Dr. Manhattan is just not that powerful enough to even take on someone like Captain America. This is just my opinion. If you disagree with me, completely fine. Just don't post any, like, hate comments, like, oh, I hate you, because then I will actually start removing the comments. But this is just my opinion. I understand if some people are disappointed with some YouTubers, but it's just how reality works. You have this opinion? Well, I have this. It doesn't matter if Dr. Manhattan can manipulate the multiverse. He's actually shown more abilities on occasion that he actually cannot. Meaning those are just plot stupidity. Another thing is that he was able to defeat the entire DC universe. That is not really that well of a feat, because he was only able to erase characters who really aren't that durable, like Pandora, Owlman, and who else? I'm trying to think of someone else. I think those two, but those guys are really not known to be as durable as, are not known to have a healing factor like Wolverine, Deadpool, Captain America, or even Galactus. Yes, Galactus does have a healing factor, but I mean, he was able to erase Eobard Dawn, but the problem was Eobard Dawn literally came back in a different story. So even if Dr. Manhattan really just has too much plot stories, really dumb moments, because in the Watchmen comic, I watched videos on this. It said that he was only able to erase 60% of Russia's missiles, but yet it took him like few days to do it. That is where I feel like a lot of people just constantly bash on Danko, Jail Josh, and other YouTubers. Well, not Jail Josh, but mostly Danko, because he's just biased towards Marvel. That's not true. I'm not even biased. No one is biased. If you were biased, I would actually say it's those Danko debunkers or YouTuber debunkers. I'll do a rant video on those guys. But one of the problems with Dr. Manhattan is the fact when you constantly have to use the plot with him, yeah, it gets easily to the point, yeah, Doctor Strange could still beat him, because never portray Dr. Manhattan as like this god. Try to portray him more as how other YouTubers are portraying him, guys who actually know more about the comics. So in my opinion, who would win between Captain America and Dr. Manhattan? Well, I have to go with Captain America here. He just has far more experience than Dr. Manhattan, and that alone is enough to give him the victory. Captain America wins. Oh boy, this is certainly not going to be a good one, is it? So anyways, what do y'all think? Please post your comments on what you think. Please be positive, and I'll see y'all next time.